All right, so we have them finally in hand. We have the Nike ReactX InfinityRN 4s. So this is the latest and greatest pair of Nikes. Again, you heard it, ReactX. So the very first pair that I know of that hit the market with ReactX branding on the shoe, as you can see on the heel right here. We're pretty used to seeing Nike React. We're also used to seeing Nike Zoom X. In some cases, we're used to seeing dual density foams combining both of them. And maybe that's what they did in this case, except for they just mixed the formula together. This is the ReactX midsole on here. So really cool that they redesigned this a little bit and made something different. I do have a couple different pairs out here to compare them to, just to give you guys my overall general feel on feet. Now this is just after wearing them a couple days, but I wanted to give you guys my overall thoughts. And if you guys have updates in the comment section after wearing your pairs, leave a comment for other people to see. And if you guys do want to buy a pair of these, I will link them in the description of the video as well. They are $160 directly on Nike. Bunch of different colorways. You can design your own colorway for I think 190, which is kind of crazy to do. That's actually what I did with this pair. I really like the look of this one, but this was a Nike by You creation that they had available. Now, first thing off the bat, if you guys are going to be buying these, which if you do and you use my links, I do get a little bit of a kickback. Lets Nike know that you guys mess with the channel. Always greatly appreciated when you do that. But these do fit really snug. So I'm a 9.5, typically a bit of a wide footer. You have to go with a size 10 in these. If you go with a size 9.5, they're going to be crazy, crazy snug on your feet, and you're probably going to end up returning them. I read the description on Nike's website. It recommended going up half a size in the shoe, which is funny because if they know that they're a little bit off, why wouldn't they just update the sizing? I don't know. Any which way, these are size 10, not a 9.5, and they fit me perfectly fine. So right out of the box, I would say that the midsole is different. It is definitely softer and squishier than the ReactX. It's noticeable in hand. It's softer. In hand, it gives the Zoom X kind of a run for the money. The difference is it feels more rubbery and not as hollow as Zoom X does. Zoom X has a really weird feel to it in my opinion. But the ReactX looks nice, and I'm gonna read some words from what Nike says in just a second. But my overall impressions of the shoe, it's the fourth version of the InfinityRN here, and they made a ton of different changes from the previous to the new one. It actually looks like completely different model, like ground up build. Nothing is the same about this shoe. The outsole traction pattern is completely different. The knit patterns on the upper is completely different. The build for the tongue is completely different. The only thing that looks somewhat similar is the heel structure, but they went away from that stability bar back here in the heel of the shoe, which is interesting because that was something that we've seen from the last 3 versions. So they completely changed that up with the midsole, made it twice as big. And it's a little bit narrow. It's not super wide, like in comparison to the Invincible. It's very similar the way that they sculpted it out, but it does feel like a little bit narrower on feet, at least in my opinion. So direct comparison to the Motivas actually look a little bit more narrow than these even. So it's kind of like the different prices. Lower tier, it's a little bit narrower. Middle tier is middle width, and then the upper tier is a little bit wider. The materials in the upper is very interesting. It's a Flyknit upper, and you do have some stretch material right here for the tongue. Interestingly enough, it looks like the Flyknit is actually stretchy right here on the inside. Usually it's like a black elastic band, and this time it's actually the same as the tongue, which I think looks kind of cool and feels pretty decent on feet as well. You do have the Nike ReactX InfinityRN in a really weird material to the touch. Honestly, it feels like rubberized almost. I never actually noticed that. That's super bizarre feeling. It's almost like a super soft microfiber, like Velcro or something. I don't know how else to describe it. Almost like a felt, I guess. But then you do have a Nike logo down here on the side of the shoe, and then you have an interesting knit pattern across the shoe, and then some reinforced Flyknit around the toe box of the shoe. The upper is pretty minimalistic. You do have some reinforced areas, but then you do have some eyelets for the top lace, and then just the heel clip on the back with a pull tab. The midsole is definitely where this thing gets crazy. So on the midsole of the shoe, it's kind of weird because it kind of concaves in and out, and then out and in on the other side. So it's kind of like they shifted everything over to the medial side, which is a very interesting choice. I don't know why they did that. It just feels kind of like in hand it's going to be off balanced feeling, but when you do put them on, you don't feel like they're off balance at all. You feel definitely a nice heel squish in the shoe. It's a pretty well cushioned pair of sneakers. It's definitely more felt than in the previous version, so it's a lot softer and squishier on feet, but you do feel some nice lockdown because of the laces and just the overall snugness of the upper. I did feel like it was a little bit wobbly on the heel of the shoe. Sometimes you have a shoe that has a max stack of cushion, but I always say in the videos, surprisingly, they actually feel like pretty stable. I felt okay stable in these, like not perfectly stable, but that's just the way it goes, you know, when you have more cushioning, especially from the previous version, and then they went away with that heel clip, as I mentioned. So comparison to the previous version, if you like softer and squishier and you like the previous version, you're gonna really like the new version if you get the right size. It's kind of that stretchy Flyknit upper on the shoe. One big difference is the tongue. It was more padded on the previous, and it kind of stuck out a little bit as well. And actually, I like the overall look and feel of the newer version, even though it is snugger. But overall, I actually really like this material, which is kind of nice. Which I cannot say the same thing for the Invincible Run 3s. I've just never been a fan of the material that they use on this upper. It's just this weird fish wire Flyknit sort of stuff. I kind of like the Flyknit and the Infinity 4 better than the Invincible. Then this is more premium product, 180 versus 160. But the upper is just a personal preference thing. Obviously, these are good still as well. The difference on both of these, though, that is going to be the deal breaker for some, is if you're looking for max cushion and max comfort, because you can't really beat it in the Invincible Run 3. It's definitely softer and squishier on feet. Putting them on side by side, there's no competition. This is much, much softer on feet. But the Infinity Run 3 still feels really good. It's just like, it's like crazy because you have so many different types of cushioning and different comfort levels and different squishy feels in the shoes. They're all good. Like this one's firmer than this one, still good. This one's firmer than this one, still good. So it's just a personal preference thing, and honestly you don't need that much squish as you get in this one unless you're looking for like real recovery sort of stuff, but it's something that you can wear casually and feel comfortable. And then same thing for this thing. I feel like you can wear this one. It's pretty versatile because it is soft and squishy, so maybe a little bit too soft and squishy for some people that like a firmer midsole like an Air Jordan 1 or a Converse or something like that. This is going to be like insane comparison to something like that. But overall, I'd say this is a pretty nice, well-rounded pair of sneakers. And if you're newer to the comfort sneaker game, like this is one that you're going to go, okay, this is pretty nice on feet. Now, again, if you try the Invincibles, this one's going to be definitely better in my opinion. But again, leave a comment in the comment section which you guys prefer. The lower tiered $110 Motivas, this is where things get crazy. First of all, something I didn't know that this shoe did. Watch this. This is crazy. Doesn't seem very cool, but like shoes don't do that. Watch. It just goes hop. It just goes down and hops like that. Even the Invincible. Watch this. Now watch this again. Seriously, I don't know why I think that's so cool, but it's a walking shoe. So this is their $110 walking shoe. I think it's like an updated Cushlon material in the midsole of the shoe. Very soft. I've given a lot of high praise to this shoe because it's a very affordable point at $110 retail. The outsole is a little bit weird and bumpy. Overall feel on feet though, comparison to these, I actually might choose the $110 version over these on average if you want something that feels really soft and squishy on feet and has a more relaxed feel on the upper of the shoe. Like this has a more relaxed feel than this crazy snug Flyknit. If you want the snugness and the secureness, these things are obviously really nice. But if you want something that you can relax it back a little bit more, extreme walking right here, baby. The Motiva is at $110. I'll link those in the description as well, and maybe go check out my video review on them. Very impressed with this model, honestly. And I didn't think, like, this is me going off my memory of going, yeah, they were pretty good. I remember they're good. They're not going to be softer than these, though, because the first time I tried these on, I was like, these are really good. But heel squish side by side, I'm like, dude, they engineered these pretty close to the same camp, like when Nike was creating them, because they're very similar in like shape and style. But overall, like if you want more relaxed, I think this is actually a better bargain buy, save you $50. But if you want the latest and greatest, I feel like this is a nice looking model. I mean, they really did a good job on it. It's very plentiful in the midsole. And then that Nike ReactX is really, really nice. In fact, I'd love to see them apply that to more things. Something interesting that they did on these, that they did similarly on the Invincibles, you can see the cutouts on the outsole of the shoe. So you have exposed foam on the bottom. Adidas did that with the Ultra Boost back in the day, and it seems like Nike's taking note. It definitely is a way to cut down on the weight of the product while still maintaining a good grip. Let's go ahead and get into some words of what Nike says about the product, though, directly. I know some of you guys hate this, but I do like to see what the product description says about the product because this is me reading it for the first time. I actually haven't read it yet. Supportive cushioning built in for a smooth run, the Nike InfinityRN 4 is a brand new take on a familiar favorite. It's made with our all-new Nike ReactX foam, which gives you 13% more energy return compared to Nike React foam to help you stay fresh and bouncy. Nike ReactX reduces the carbon footprint of the midsole by at least 43% compared to Nike React foam, so it helps support the planet too. We coupled the ReactX foam with Nike's best fitting Flyknit yet, so you can take off anytime, anywhere with secure upper support and breathability. It's the kind of shoe that can grant you that priceless peace of mind to go faster and further thanks to an intuitive design that supports every stride. So important to know, 13% softer than Nike React foam. Nike React foam was pretty good. And personally, it's nice to see Nike like staying up with the curves and evolving their product. They had Lunarlon back in the day, which is kind of a dual density foam that was really good. I really liked that back then. Then you have Nike React that was kind of combating the Adidas Boost wave, and then Zoom X for the elite stuff, and then Nike ReactX for kind of the middle tier in between. I feel like this is a really nice place to be in between because it is a really nice soft foam, something that I really enjoyed on feet. Again, the snugness, maybe not going to be for everybody, but if you don't mind the snugness and you actually prefer it, then this will be the option for you guys that you'll really like. If you want more max cushion, then go with the Invincible. And then if you do want a cheaper alternative to these, that is also really, really good on feet. The walking sneaker here, the Motivas. And I'll again link all three of those in the description of the video. But if you guys want to see me compare these to other sneakers on the market or just other comfort sneakers that you want to see that you know I've done a review on, or maybe one that I haven't done a review on, and you want to see a comparison to some of the other products out here that you're curious about before you make any purchases and stuff, leave a comment in the comment section. And if you agree with the comment, thumbs it up so I can see it. But I love to be able to have your guys' feedback when I'm making these type of videos coming out with the comfort sneakers in mind. Leave a comment again. What do you guys think about the InfinityRN 4? And I appreciate you all for stopping by and watching. Hopefully you guys have a good rest of the day, and hopefully see you back for some more videos. All right, peace guys.